First guest tonight is a Hollywood giant and one of America's finest actors. Will you welcome Robert Redford? Well, I don't have to say it. Nice to have you here. Do we call you Robert or Bob?
You can call me whatever you like.
Well, your friends call you Bob, or are you just plain old Robert?
No, my friends call me Mr. Redford.
Oh, I see. Well, Mr. Redford. Whether you're Robert
so you're not alone here, I see.
Oh, no. With this, they come in all the... It's free. Yeah. Tickets free. Yeah, they come in. We've got so much to talk to you about. Obviously, the movies over the years, Sundance, Out of Africa, The Way We Were, Sting, Gatsby, and the new one, The Horse Whisperer. I saw that, by the way. I enjoyed every minute. And this is what...
Thank you.
I'm not saying this was just sitting there, right? I enjoyed every minute of it. It was wonderful. Let's go back to the beginning, almost the beginning of your film career. Barefoot in the Park. I enjoyed that as much as any, because you made me laugh, running around the park, you know, no shoes on. Why have you not done more comedy over the years?
Well, you know, that's a good question. I love comedy, and I did comedy in the theater, but I also did drama. And I think if you're an actor, if you're a serious actor, you look at both comedy and drama in the same light. You know, you don't put one ahead or to the side of the other. And so therefore, when you go forward with your work, it just sort of falls into place. And if you get a string of dramatic parts, then that suddenly begins to label you a bit. What I try to do is put comedy into the work whenever I can.
I noticed there's a kind of it's bubbling under the surface with you.
It's more subtle than probably a lot of stuff that's coming out of my country, but it's there because I couldn't do it without it. Frankly, I couldn't.
You see, I've read a few articles. The word even somber was used. I don't find that for one moment that is true. I think, as I say, there is this humour there, and there was all that fun. Yeah, I know we're going back a long ways now. Again, Sundance.
Yeah, don't go back any further.
I won't go back to the silent era.
Yeah, no.
But, I mean, you and Paul Newman, there was fun. You were like a couple of overgrown schoolboys running around.
Still that way. Still that way, yeah. No, it was fun, and it was hard work, but it was fun work, and a very good relationship developed from it. And in the best possible way, a relationship developed from the work.
Yeah. The Horse Whisperer, as I say, I saw it just 5 days ago, and it had an impact on me. And it must have done it with you, because you paid over $3 million for the film, or somebody on your side did.
Disney did.
Disney did. Yeah. And what was so compelling then about the subject, the story?
It was a wonderful story, Nick Evans' book, and it just happened to contain the elements that are of personal interest to me. There's the American West, which is something I have a very strong feeling about and a conviction about living there. It had it's a big love story, and contained in the large love story are smaller love stories. So it's one big love story, the love of a girl and her horse, her friend, which is this horse. The love of a stranger who comes to heal the horse who's damaged, along with her being damaged. A relationship developing between the stranger and the girl, and the healing power of the stranger to the horse. Then there's the mother and the relationship of mother-daughter, and the love that is somewhat dysfunctional in the beginning, but heals to, it blossoms to a good place. And so and then there's the whole contrast between East and West, the urban environment of New York City. Yeah. And for me, I guess as an artist, I was very attracted to all the elements that were contained in this one story.
There's some great performances in this movie. Come next March, people may be stepping up to pick up their Oscars. I think I mean, Christian Scott Thomas is wonderful as Annie, the mom.
Yes.
The little girl, Scarlett Johansson, and she got me... she's a very talented young lady. And you weren't bad.
Well, thank you.
You were quite good.
Thanks for saving that moment.
Now, as well as starring as Tom Booker, he's the Horse Whisperer, you directed this. Now, I know you've directed before. In fact, you You won an Oscar for Ordinary People. But this is a different kettle of fish, directing yourself. I mean, that can't be easy.
No, it wasn't, and I had very mixed feelings about it. I still do, to be honest with you. I couldn't, there are some people who can direct themselves, and my hat goes off to them because they can do it comfortably. In this experience, I think probably the director didn't ask much of the actor, and the actor didn't demand much of the director. So it was
turn up on time, they shout, these directors.
Yeah, no. I also was self-conscious, to be honest with you.
Were you really?
Yeah, I was. I didn't feel comfortable stepping into a scene. I'd be rehearsing all the actors, and then I'd step into the scene and be in it. And then I'd say, well, cut. And, you know, you turn around and say, you can't turn around and say, how was that? You know? So you go to the monitor, which I don't like doing because of its artificial connection to the work. And then you have to watch what you've just done, which I don't like doing. And so I would too quickly say maybe, okay, that's fine, let's move on.
We share a love of horses, you and I. Right?
Good,
Did you
I
ever,
heard that. I heard that.
Yes, do you ever own a racehorse?
Racehorse?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I never owned
Stallions?
a racehorse. Stallions, yes, but not racehorses.
Well, I was hoping to have this chance to show off to you, Robert. If you look
Well,
at
you
your,
can. You can sing. You can do it.
Thanks a lot.
That's right.
Thanks a lot.
If you ask us to do a duet, it's either it's an extension of your career and the end of mine. So let's not.
If you have a look, here's a picture of me and my stallion. He's down in the Hunter Valley in Australia. And just prior to that, about 5 minutes beforehand, he'd broken my left hand. He broke a finger.
Oh, really?
And fractured two, you know, rearing up. And I was stupid enough to get my hand in the way of his hooves.
What do you have there? You have thoroughbred?
A thoroughbred. He's called called Great Lover. I like the name. He's 32 now. He's on Viagra at the moment. He hasn't got as many mares visiting. But there's this thing about horses, isn't there? I mean, it's
yes.
It's just you can't explain it to someone. You can't say I love horses.
I try to in the film because I feel the same way you do, and I feel that there's something, of course, special about animals, and the relationship between human and beast is endlessly fascinating, and I think always in an odd way important.
Unlike, say, Jack Nicholson, you've never had this image of Hellraiser. But reading about you, I did a bit of homework on you, young Redford.
How far back did you go?
I went back quite a way.
Yeah.
You've had your moments along the way.
Yeah.
I mean, is that right? You used to climb flagpoles naked for $1?
Yeah.
Hold on, woman's gone very strange.
Well, the price index was different in those days.
Did you actually do that?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Well, we've got a flagpole outside as you leave. We won't film it.
I don't go for less than $1 million now.
Talking about $1 million, what about Indecent Proposal? The one film I think I saw that I thought had a chink in the story. Because a lot of these women couldn't buy it. You had to pay $1 million.
Yeah, no, I know.
I mean, Robert Redford, I don't think so.
It was just a great part. It was a fun part, and a lot of people have asked me, why'd you do that film? And I said, why not? It's a wonderful part. I mean, it's a great part and fun to do. And I was also doing A River Runs Through It at that time, editing that film. I have no regrets about doing it. I mean, whether you like the movie or like the story or not, I looked at it purely from the standpoint of a fun acting role. Yeah.
Another article I read said that the younger Redford dropped out of college because of his wild life. What wild life would that be, Robert? Well, it wasn't booze or anything, was it?
Yeah, it was that, and it was just about everything. I was just not meant for school. I was not meant for that kind of school.
Well, you were studying art, and then you went off to Europe, bummed around Europe for a while.
Yeah.
I'm a romantic. I mean, you were skin. Tell me, Robert, that it was Paris in the spring, nubile artist models, a little studio, a jambon baguette, and a litre of Vin Ordinaire. Tell me it was that.
Oh God, well, I wish I could. Maybe today, but not then.
Was it rough?
Oh yeah, I mean, the French.
What do you remember those days that you could tell us about?
The French don't like being. The French like being the boss, and when I went there, I had this totally naive idea about what Paris would be like because I'd seen an American in Paris, And I thought I could just sort of dance my way into the hearts of the French. And instead, I encountered some pretty rude behavior, and I didn't understand it, and no attempt to help me with the language. And then I had to open my eyes to certain realities that I had not been exposed to, which was the politics. You know, what are the politics of my country as it's seen from this distance rather than inside? And that was an eye-opener that I'm forever grateful for, because it forced me into a new place of looking at things with a more objective view. And so I'm, in an odd way, grateful that that rough behavior that I got in France. I had no money. I had to live by resources that had not been really developed yet, you know. And so all that was part of the adventure of living and growing. So I have a very fond memory of the whole thing, but it was tough.
No romance?
No, nobody was welcoming me into their living rooms or anything like that.
Well, in films, you've had many romantic scenes with some of the world's most glamorous women, locked in a clinch for hours on end with the likes of Michelle Pfeiffer. Now, I've spoken to actors before about this, and they fobbed me off with, it's just a job, Des. It's just another day at the office. Now, Robert, Bob, man to man.
Are you getting as nervous as I am?
But I mean, those scenes, you don't say, oh God, another 5 hours kissing Michelle Pfeiffer. I mean, you look forward to it, or you just say, it is just the job.
It's all of the above. It is a job, and for anybody who's interested, all you have to do is be on the set filming those scenes, and you realize why I would say that. And it does get tedious. I mean, it does, you know, take after take after take. Imagine you, I don't know what your personal life is like, but whatever goes on in your personal life, just imagine doing 25 takes of it, you know.
I'd need a few hours' notice.
On the other hand, you are dealing with people like Michelle. They've all been great.
And you make friends with some of the actors, some of the guys. Do you forge friendships during a movie? Does that happen, or do you go separately?
Yeah, Newman. Yeah. Yeah. He has no memory, but you know, in the moment he's fine. You get him on a good day.
You seem generally, sitting here with you, you seem a quiet man.
So do you.
Well, I am actually in a funny kind of. We won't get into that right now. Do you ever let your hair down? Do you ever cut loose?
Well, sure, but I'm not going to. You know, I'm not here. I mean, yeah, I mean that's what you're. But that's your life. I mean, that's what you do with your life.
Do you enjoy being a film star? Silly question, but do you enjoy being?
I enjoy acting. I enjoy acting. Being a film star, that has.
I meant carrying the mantle of being, you know, the image and everything.
No, not really. That's got a downside to it that's hard to imagine, and it's rather not go into it because, you know, a lot of people are going to, well, what's he complaining about? But there is a downside to it, a loss of privacy, being viewed a certain way that has distortion to it, and that doesn't feel great. And also, if you're interested in your work, which is why I got into this, you want it to be about the work. And when suddenly the work gets interrupted by a more cosmetic view of yourself, that doesn't always feel good. On the other hand, how can you not be flattered if somebody likes the way you look?
What about the way you look? One of the things I read, and I wasn't going to touch on it, but you just said the way you look. I really was.
I'm sorry,
I brought it up. No, it said something along the line that you weren't happy, or a terrible thing, with your looks. Did you actually feel that at one time? Would you think it was they weren't going to take you seriously as an actor? No,
I didn't. My looks were not an issue until after I became an actor. In other words, I was never a kid that walked around, people would go, ooh, you know. No, I was kind of a goofy-looking kid. That never came into my life until after I became an actor. And by that time, I was already an actor, and I entered the profession by way of craft, not personality. You
seem to have this affinity with mountains. You live amongst them, you ski down them, you climb up them. I mean, you tried a few years back to climb Mount Everest, didn't you?
No, I went to the base camp of Mount Everest. I mean, that was a dream I had as a kid. When I was about 12 or 13 and I started climbing, I had this dream that was shattered by Hillary and Tenzing climbing it. But my stepbrother and I had this dream of being the first ones to climb Everest. And that carried on, you know, through minor escapades. But when I finally had the chance to go to the Himalayas, I did get to the base camp of Everest and climbed it.
Doesn't it?
Yeah, that was pretty good. And then across, for instance, this small peak called Kalapatar, which is 21,000 feet. So I made that, but that's as close as I got.
Any other mountains for Robert Redford to try and climb, or you want to climb?
You mean that literally or figuratively?
No, not literally.
Yeah, figuratively. No, you know, I just think the work you do, or the work that I do, is probably going to be tough enough. You know, I choose projects that are not particularly easy, but they're challenging, and they move me along. They move me forward. And I'll
Keep
just
making films like The Horse Whisperer. I want to be able to take the family. Ladies and gentlemen, what a delight. Robert Redford.
Yeah.
Now you stay there.